1847, thousands of people went to sleep in Mexico and woke up in the United States without ever even moving. Today, when people argue about immigration and borders, the conversation usually starts with one assumption: that the border has always been where it is now. But that just simply isn't true. For millions of Mexican and Mexican-American families living in California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Nevada, Utah, parts of Colorado, the border didn't arrive with them. The border crossed them. This is a story of how the United States acquired the Southwest and what that meant for people already living there. The Southwest before the U.S. Before it was American, the Southwest was Mexican. And before it was Mexican, much of it had been Spanish for over 300 years. By the early 1800s, regions like Alta California, New Mexico, and Texas had Mexican citizens, Spanish-speaking towns, land grants passed down through families, and local governments tied to Mexico City. These weren't empty lands. They were sparsely populated, yes, but populated nonetheless. When Mexico gained its independence from Spain in 1821, these territories became part of the new Mexican nation. But Mexico was young, unstable, and constantly dealing with internal political conflict. That instability would soon be exploited. Texas and the fracture. In the 1820s, Mexico allowed American settlers to move into Texas under specific conditions. They had to become Mexican citizens, they had to convert to Catholicism, and they had to follow Mexican law, including the ban on slavery. Many of them didn't. By the 1830s, the Anglo settlers outnumbered Tejanos, Mexican Texans, and tensions exploded. In 1836, Texas declared its independence from Mexico. Mexico never fully recognized that independence, especially because the Treaty of Velasco, which ended the fighting, was signed while Mexican President Santa Anna was a prisoner. From Mexico's perspective, Texas was not a legitimate new country. It was a breakaway province. From the U.S. perspective, it was an opportunity. The Mexican-American War. In 1845, the United States annexed Texas. Mexico considered this an act of aggression. President James K. Polk sent U.S. troops into disputed territory near the Rio Grande. And when fighting broke out, Polk claimed that Mexico had shed American blood on U.S. soil. But even at the time, many Americans disagreed. A young congressman by the name of Abraham Lincoln openly questioned whether the land was truly American at all. The war that followed wasn't defensive. It was expansionist. By 1847, U.S. forces occupied Mexico City. Mexico had no leverage left. The treaty and its promises. The war officially ended with the Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo in 1848. Mexico was forced to cede nearly half of its territories, including California, Nevada, Utah, most of Arizona and New Mexico, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. In exchange, the treaty promised that Mexicans living in these territories would keep their land, retain their property rights, choose between U.S. citizenship and Mexican citizenship, and be protected under U.S. law. On paper, it sounded fair. In reality, it wasn't. What actually happened? After the treaty, Mexican landowners faced an impossible system. The courts operated only in English. The legal processes dragged on for years. Families had to prove ownership under unfair U.S. law. Squatters occupied land while cases were pending. Many families lost their land not through conquest, but through legal exhaustion. In California alone, an estimated majority of Mexican land grants were lost within a generation. People who had lived in the land for centuries were suddenly labeled foreigners, squatters, or criminals on their own land. This wasn't ancient history. The economic and racial hierarchies created in that period still shape the Southwest today. This story isn't about blaming modern Americans for the past. It's about understanding why the phrase, "the border crossed us," exists at all. When people say, "go back to where you came from," the honest answer for many families is, we didn't cross the border crossed us. History doesn't disappear just because it makes us uncomfortable. And if we want honest conversation about immigration, identity, and belonging, this is where they have to begin. This short video that I'm making doesn't explain a lot of the nuance of really what took place. It's just a brief synopsis, right? And it's not an argument for open borders or modern immigration policy. It is a historical account based on treaties, congressional records, and mainstream historians. You can disagree with interpretations, but the documents are real, and the sources are listed in the description. Small side note on probably why I'm interested in this at all is I am Mexican. I am mixed. My mom is mostly Scottish, a little bit of British, but my whole life is I've just been told I'm half white. My dad, on the other hand, was born in Mexico, born in Chihuahua, Mexico, and I've been raised Mexican. It's been my culture. Basically, half my family is Mexican, and I've always been raised being told I'm Mexican. And there's been a lot of confusion throughout my life about what that actually means, but through and through, I'm definitely been Mexican, and I am Mexican. I mean, my name is Anthony Carlos Espinosa, so this is a topic that fascinates me. History fascinates me. There's many of amazing historians and people who are way better at making YouTube videos that have really lengthy, amazing, informative videos about this topic. And I have a very small following. I think I have 50 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so I'm not reaching the masses with this. But I'm having fun doing it, and I'm having fun doing the research. And there's a lot on this topic that I learned about in recent years. But it fascinates me. It's interesting. It doesn't lean me to one side or the other of the political spectrum, but it's just, I think it's a good thing to know a lot of this stuff. So really, the aim of this video is to give you small tidbits, bullet points of things that took place. The links of the sources are in the description. Click through them. If I don't link them accurately, you can copy and paste. But it's an interesting topic. Look it up, read more about it, find another video that's more informative than me, and learn about it. Especially if you're Mexican. If you're a Mexican and you've heard anybody say the phrase, "we didn't cross the border crossed us," learn what that actually means. It's interesting. So until next time, please support the channel, like, subscribe, comment, and see you on the next one.